The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Boom, see young gal, wind your waist. Get ready for the countdown. We heading in deep space. See, I am Captain Kirk. Come aboard my rocket ship. Buckle up, let's ride. Get ready for the lift. I want to show you what the planets. Fly you to the moon. I want to send you into warp drive into the twilight zone. I want to orbit around Uranus. Open up the hatch. See if any life down there, any crab I can catch. Cause I'll always be a Bahamian gal. Anywhere I go, eating plenty crab fat and marching up some dough. Gal, we heading in deep space. We taking big and speed. Yes, we heading in deep space. Taking big and speed. Look here, young boy got plenty action. Old boy know how to pace. Get ready for the blast off. We heading in deep space. Yes, man. Let's go. Don't get lost in there now. Go. Woo.
Good morning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. I've got a bit of a different show for you today. I am expecting a big guest in studio. I don't think he could jinx it. I'm hoping that KB, the one and only Kirkland Bodie, could make it into studio with me today. I've got another guest joining me, Mr. Natino Thompson. And I brought these two guests together, not for them to have the same show, but see, here's what the vibe is. Mr. Natino Thompson and I are hosting a public conversation on July 3rd called Ghosts, Haunted Borderlands, Untold Stories, Caught in Between Worlds, Beyond Being Bahamian. Right? That's what... A slight ode to Nicolette Bethel and her work, A Slippery Fish to Catch. Those who know Nicolette's work intimately will catch the reference, pun intended, right? And so, an opportunity to talk to KB, one of the most prolific musicians in the country. See, because KB has told all the stories. Conservation, to politics, to Bahamian culture, everything. This guy's anthology is just massive and expansive, right? And so, while Latino and I are going to be talking a bit about this talk and the subject matter, one of those ghosts, right? One of those things hanging out on the haunted borderland, one of those untold stories that stays caught in between worlds is Sweetheartin' in the Bahamas, right? Sweetheartin'. And so, after looking at KB's extensive anthology, right, I thought, well, what a perfect combination. Because, like somebody said yesterday on Adrian Fox's internet, I thought all Bahamian music was about sweethearting. And I'm inclined to agree with you, caller. So in the show today, we're going to be playing some music. I'm going to be asking you, the audience, we need to create a list. I need a list of all the sweethearting songs in the Bahamas. And this is important. Why is it important? Because sweethearting and the family dynamic is one of the, I think, most talked about but least examined spaces in the Bahamas, in Bahamian culture, historically. Nicolette Bethel has done extensive work. Ian Strawn has done extensive work. If you've watched the documentary I Is Man, right, there's a lot about how our perceptions of family structures historically inform our behavior today, whether they are ill-conceived or completely incorrect, right? And so, like I say, because KB have a song called Bahamian Sweetheart in 101. I'm not saying he's the professor, right? Or I'm not saying he's the expert. But this boy been teaching us a thing or two about sweethearting for a long, long time. So, good morning, Mr. Thompson, Latino Thompson. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm good. Good morning, Bahamas.
So, tell the people about the talk.
Okay, so the talk, what we're talking about, we're interrogating Bahamian identity and Bahamian society. Remember, I think you said in 2014 there's this article, or there's this Bahamas local article that I saw where you said that the Bahamian identity is wrapped around tourism, right? That who we are is basically seen through the eyes of the tourist. And I've been trying to figure out, okay, what is this Bahamian identity? Like, everybody says, okay, I'm proud to be Bahamian. But like, what does that mean? Like, we don't know philosophically what that, if somebody says, what a Bahamian, what does a Bahamian mean? We immediately go to, oh, it's the food we eat. It's the macaroni. It's the coleslaw. It's the peas and rice. Or it's the junk canoe. Or we go to the conch salad. And it's like, yeah, those are things we do. But what does it actually mean to be Bahamian? Yes, it's an ode to Nicolette Bethel's work where she says that Bahamian identity is a slippery fish to catch. But also, I think Keith Tinker, Keith Russell.
Right.
Keith Russell
who also coined ontological whiteness.
Yes.
Yeah.
He uses that term. I remember we had a discussion about that, but I wanted to center those Bahamians who had actually tried to like figure out what this means. And I think that I've caught this little slippery blue marlin, right? Or the slippery barracuda. Because what I found is that like it's this kind of ghost that continues to haunt us. And I'm trying to explain, okay, that there are these things that have happened in our past that we must recognize if we're going to go beyond what it means to be Bahamian. Because I think being Bahamian, it transcends the borders of the Bahamas. Because, okay, what does it mean for Buddy Hield to be a Bahamian in America, right? John Quill Jones, Stephen Gardner, what does that look like outside of the Bahamas, not just here? Like, we have Bahamians in the diaspora who are being Bahamian. So being Bahamian doesn't stop at our borders.
And, like, we have Bahamians in the diaspora that are not only being Bahamian, but they have deep connections with the Bahamas, whether at a policy or political level, right? Whether at an economic sort of corporate multinational level, right? That these people are making massive contributions or significant contributions to Bahamian development. And they have to sit with the question, if I am located here outside of the Bahamas, am I still a Bahamian?
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I think one of the things that I discovered is that no matter where I go in the world, I carry the Bahamas on the tip of my tongue, right? And while I may not have a basilectal Bahamian dialect, and that's when you say basilectal, that's where where people will get the V's and the W mixed up, or not mixed up, but that's actually how Bahamian dialect works.
Yeah.
The V's and W switch. The T's turn into D's, right? Instead of that, you say that, right?
In fact, let me give you an example. My third day on the show, my sister sent me a text. She said, "Why are you speaking in Bahamian dialect?" She said, "Why you sound like that?" Because to her, right, that's not me.
Yeah.
That's not who I am as a Bahamian.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and to your point, there's this, we've relegated Bahamian dialect to this inferior position to English, and we call it a broken language, but it's not broken.
It's whole and complete.
It's very whole and complete.
And I thought that Hubert Ingram would have shown us that, right? That like one of the most politically and legally astute people in the country, what's the term you use? Basilectal, right?
Yeah.
He switched his V's and W's all the time.
Yep,
that's
he did.
just how he spoke, and
did.
nobody questioned the validity or the quality or the strength of what it was he was saying.
But also, like, for example, one of the things I've been saying is that whether you like her or not, you like her message, you like how she talks, her tone. Cindy Patrice Jackson is a good example of what Bahamian dialect can do. She's created multiple words, right, out of using Bahamian dialect, and that's the basilectal form of it, right?
Like Badat.
Yeah, Badat. So
Chapello.
Yeah, that didn't exist in the Bahamian English, Creole English lexicon before, and so there's a magicness that happens when we use the language of our ancestors that was created for us to move us into levels of freedom. And I think that Bahamian dialect is not just only about language. Language is important though. And so I remember studying this philosopher, I think it's Ludwig Wittgenstein, and he says that the limits of my language represents the limits of my world. And so one of the things that I'm advocating for, and we're going to talk about, is I think that Bahamian dialect should be a subject entirely in and of itself, taught from primary school straight up to tertiary. Currently, right now, we only get it like you have the you don't have access to it until about tertiary level education.
And let me give the people a stark reason why. Like right now, we are now like in the throes. Like if you're on TikTok, if you're on social media, the Bahamian Twitter, Bahamian social media has connected with the Gullah Gullah Geechee people.
Yes, I saw. Well, and that's the thing. So that connection has been made for years.
Right.
But seeing how it's come full circle, that's a historical moment because we're now connecting ourselves to where we came from, or where the majority of the Bahamian population who were enslaved came with their masters over. And then Gullah Geechee, you also have to think about the liberated Africans, right? Because they make up a significant portion after we come from the majority of Bahamians came from the Gullah Geechee with their masters, right?
Yeah.
From the North, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, they came or they came to the Bahamas. Then you have the liberated Africans, the one who came straight from Africa, and they were only enslaved during the Middle Passage. And the minute they got here, the British released the majority of them in the Bahamas. Some went to Jamaica, some went to Haiti, some went to other colonies, but the majority of them were released in the Bahamas. That mixed up like it's a melting pot of ethnic African groups that landed here. I was just in the archives on last week Friday, and I was looking at the liberated Africans, and I saw the Congo, I saw the Igbo, I saw I can't remember the rest of them, but it's like if you start to really do the work, like we're really a multicultural society. And then you have to think about, okay, when the Greeks came, the Chinese, right? All of these groups of people exist here, but we're not doing ourselves justice by like we acknowledge a certain set of people and we ignore, the rest. And so what does that Bahamian identity look like in a multicultural space?
All right, so two things. The idea that you have of teaching Bahamian dialect, Bahamian English, as a standalone course is important because we may find ourselves in the same place as the Gullah Gullah people, the Geechee people, Geechee people who speak Gullah Gullah, right?
Okay.
No, I'm asking you.
No, I think it's Gullah Geechee.
Okay, Gullah Geechee, right?
Yeah.
Where they are at risk of losing their language, losing it entirely, right? We need to teach Bahamian English as a standalone course, separate from English and English literature.
Yes.
For the purpose of preserving and retaining or making it more likely that we will do so. To my second point, so we're talking about ghosts, haunted borderlands. Here are three ghosts, right? Things hanging out at that haunted borderland. Conky Joes.
Yeah.
What's a Conky Joe? Mixed race Bahamians, predominantly European descent people, right? And where do they fit into the narrative? What space do they hold?
I don't know if they're predominantly, right? I don't know.
But
I don't know if they're predominantly. I think so. My theory is that almost all of the white people that we have here are mixed race.
I feel you.
Let me tell you why I say that, because over the time we've stopped talking about these things, but I think this whole idea about, I guess, the Bahamas being, in terms of slavery, being less brutal, right? I think that emerges because of the mixing, right? In other words, we had close proximity to our masters if they were here. Now, the majority of them weren't, right? But when they were here, they were mixing. And that mixing, that's one of the things, the ghosts, we don't want to talk about. Because I remember reading in one of the books where they talked about how who's the deputy prime minister?
Adriana.
80. So 80.
John's father.
Yeah. So 80. So 80 would be able to go to the Savoy, but his brother could not because of the color. They were two different colors, but they were from the same parents. And that was noted by someone in Bryland, right, who was familiar with the family. And so racism and race, we get, like, when we start talking about that, like, that's a ghost. People get upset.
All right, so producer, let's get to the phone line. And as we go to the phone line, two other ghosts. I think one is homosexuality, Scythian, right? And we can talk about that just a little bit today. And then the other ghost we're definitely talking about today is sweethearting. I think that's a ghost.
Yeah, because then
the untold stories.
Yeah, I definitely sweethearting, because remember now, the law of primogeniture we have in the Bahamas, until it was changed, and I can't remember when it was changed, but up until that point, the firstborn son had, that was a big issue,
changed
right?
By the Inheritance Act.
Yeah, by the Inheritance Act. So if you had any illegitimate children before that was changed, they could not have access to whatever was left by the the parent or the father in particular. And so, yeah, sweethearting is a ghost.
Producer, let's go to the phone line, and then we can play some music.
Okay.
There we go. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning, Greene. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Radio. So you are basically trying to say the white people will see.
Why would you say something so exciting to such excitable people and don't expect excitement? No, okay.
What do you say? Sorry.
So, okay, the reference to driftwood and seaweed. Seaweed, it comes and it goes quickly. Driftwood, it stays, right? It washes in, but it stays. I'm not sure if we're going to, because okay, watch this. We contextualize it by acknowledging when they came and how they came. Right, like if they came as colonizers, I don't know if we're going to use the seaweed or driftwood reference, right?
So, no, okay. So I don't know.
See what I say, caller?
I'm resting with that.
Okay, thank you, caller.
I'm resting with that. That's an interesting notion or analogy.
And now I'm gonna consider it, like when I'm preparing for this discussion we're having, right? Like I've been thinking of, well, what are the ghosts? Right, and I think I'm going to add that as a part of my discussion and explore it more. We may get back to it today, but I want to play some music.
Go ahead.
Now, I mentioned another ghost, homosexuality.
Yeah.
Right, and I thought about it. Because this is big part of the talk. But KB's coming today, right? My expectation is he's on his way. They play that song Deep Space.
Yeah, you said
one of my favorite KB songs ever. I hope you're on the rocket ship heading here right now. But KB is one of the only people I know, or whose work I know, references homosexuality. Right? Ronnie Butler is the other one.
Okay.
I am just not familiar. It may be there. I'm just not familiar. But so here are the songs, right, by KB. Gal, Your Husband Funny. And I think that's from the 8 Mile Rock, Jonestown 8 Mile Rock album. If you go on YouTube, I think it's on that album there. Gal, Your Husband Funny, right? And then KB and Ronnie Butler, I'll Try Anything Once. There's some lyrics in there. Sung by Ronnie, not by KB, right? And Ronnie say, he tried that. And KB said he ain't gonna try that. And I wish I had an opportunity to.
No, I thought it was KB who was trying it.
No, it was Ronnie who said he'd try it, and KB said he ain't gonna try it.
No, okay. Well, when I was listening, because I listened to it this morning, I think, right before I came, and I think in the song KB.
No man,
if you we could play it, but I remember thinking for his girlfriend.
Right, because it's still two women and him. It's still homosexuality.
No, actually, he said that.
No, you serious?
He said that the wife wanted two men. I was just listening to it. He said the wife wanted two men, so he'll try anything once.
Let's listen just for a little bit, so y'all know the song we're talking about.
In spite of all the dirt and rubbish, in spite of all the muck and stains, if she really did want me, sop it up, at least she could have cleaned. 'Cause horse for horse, goat for goat, not every water does float your boat. Bone for dog and milk for cat. Once I'm happy, then I'm down with that. But I'll try anything once. There's not much I wouldn't do. Yes, I'll try anything once. Cause girl, you know I is a fool for you. Ah, yes, man. Come on now. Oh, yeah. Play that thing, man. Play that thing.
Wait, Ronnie, let me tell you what happened to me.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send picture direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons?
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas so you can call and nobody knows it's you directly to Miami without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
At Cleveland Clinic, care is everything. So when your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your community until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else, all to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Hey, KB.
Yes, sir.
Boy, you know, when you love these women, it will really make you do some crazy things.
Boy, I agree with you, Ron.
Listen, you gotta check this out. This really happened to me.
What?
Yes, boy.
Why you hear this?
My gal asked me to lick ice cream off her she kitchen floor.
What?
To prove my love, I had to do it.
She's a freaky.
Or she won't check for me no more. In spite of all the dirt and rubbish. In spite of all the...
Good morning and welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. Okay, so we got into a very exciting part of the show. All talking about, man. Anyway, KB, again, we're having this conversation.
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning.
Well, first of all, welcome.
Thank you very much, man.
Listen, we going into space. From you knew years ago where we was going.
Yep.
You know Aisha Bo was gonna make it up there, and I know they take the song with them.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite Bahamian.
Also, Eddie Carter, he loved that. Eddie Carter loves that song.
Yeah, that one is a blast, pun intended. Okay, so we was playing I'll Try Anything Once, because while we were filling the time for you to get here, we were talking about one of the other ghosts, which is homosexuals, and we were talking about how.
So you're saying a ghost is.
Well, it's a thing that's there, but we don't. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing that is there, and it's always been there. But
I got you.
The act of not talking about it, the act of avoiding it, right, has turned it into a ghost. But it's that type of ghost that you know them. The children know the ghost under the bed. We know the ghost there.
Yeah.
But nobody would acknowledge it when we try to acknowledge it.
Yes, in denial. I got you.
Yes. So yes, if that's the case. So the reason why it becomes a ghost is because you refuse to acknowledge it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so the thing that you refuse to acknowledge is outside of your conscious awareness.
Yes.
Now,
And so therefore it becomes a ghost. It's not
I
really a
understand.
ghost,
Yeah.
but until you recognize it,
It'll
until
be
you
a
acknowledge
ghost.
it, it'll always be the ghost.
now I brought you. I sort of felt comfortable with this because it feels to me like you're not afraid to touch any subject, right? Politics, right? Conservation, which is also a very political sort of space.
Yes.
Relationship, sweetheart, and right, and so I say, man, today we going through some of your music, some of my favorites. I've asked the audience to call and text and tell us what your favorite sweetheart and song is. I don't mean to phrase it don't phrase it like that when you're in front of your spouse. For people to know, right? Don't say favorite. And I got a long list today. So we're going to play some music. We're going to do some talking. Now, I tell Latino, it's Ronnie Butler who say he'll try that. And in the song, you say you ain't gonna try it. And I figure it's Ronnie Butler because he's the one who asked who put the pepper in the Vaseline. I don't know how he even know there was pepper in the Vaseline. Now, mind you, the song tell you because the two sissies was in the apartment, right?
Yeah, he did say that.
Now, this song is important. Like I referenced it earlier last week because a reason why homosexuality was decriminalized, and one of the rationales put forth was that I think with the expat and tourist market, we could not have an environment where people were essentially snitching on the guests that we invite here about what they're doing in their private space.
I agree.
Right? Okay, so who put the pepper in the Vaseline? First of all, I don't know. Like, is it a violent song? I don't think it's necessarily a violent song, but it's something like we all know the song. Talk about it, right? And it's one of those sort of ghosts.
But wasn't that a song that never really got? It never was an airplay song, right?
Yeah. No, it didn't get.
It's just a on the ground community song that people would play. But because I again never as a kid never heard it on the radio, but I know that song.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's appropriate.
But I've heard it a lot. I mean, not a lot. But I mean, whenever I've heard it, I know it's not one of my favorite Bahamian songs.
No,
it's not. It's really not.
And then,
it's not.
Gal, your husband, funny, right? Like I thought that's the sweetest way. Like these men really love this woman. Like you really trying to let her know, baby, something up. We need you to see why you can't see what we could see, right?
You know, like that idea came to me. I think I was driving in the States on the highway, and they had a thing, sign, a billboard that said, "Did you know your wife's hot?"
Okay.
And it was an air conditioned ad, but it said, did you know your wife is hot? And they were playing off that word of your wife being hot. Get air conditioned for her, she yada yada.
Yeah.
So when I came up with that idea, then the idea came to me, gal, your husband funny, meaning that because if you listen to the song, this guy is extreme. He goes, he tells, everyone laughs and he come in there, he telling jokes.
Okay.
But it was a play on the word that he is for. You don't know this man you got there, he really ain't for you. And so she couldn't see it, but the guys were telling him, you know what, this guy treating you nice. We don't do that as men. So actually it was playing three different ways.
Okay.
Us men don't do it. This guy takes you, he goes with you to shopping. He does all these nice things. When we at the game, drinking drunk and trying to sweetheart, he trying to hang out with you, do your nails, shop with you. So we trying to down this guy when he's such a nice guy. No regular men go, we do men things. And so the song we're playing three different ways of talking of, he's funny. We trying to say, he ain't like us because we macho.
Yeah.
But we just, you didn't understand, three different players on the song that we're saying.
And I like it.
Yeah,
like
so it was given three different, and again, no, not to demean. It was just bringing again. Because I believe in just, like you say, when something is invisible, I try to bring it to your face. If you like it or you don't like it, that's not the problem. That's not the point. The point is, I'm going to bring it to you because it's here.
Okay.
Just like Turn It Loose and Let It Go, it's there. Okay. So you could not want to talk about as many things. That's why I get in trouble a lot with my writing. Anything that's like jokey leaders or anything, I get in trouble with that.
Yeah. I remember you. I remember that. Yeah.
Producer, I don't know if you on Kermit board or yours, but I send a link just now to both of you. Play that. For this man here, Mr. KB. Now, Mr. KB, I thought I was your biggest fan, but I found your biggest fan.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I need the whole of the Bahamas to know who your biggest, I know you know who your biggest fan is.
Okay, let me
because you shared the video, right? But there's a young lady named Brooke. She is from Long Island.
But this
Bahama Brooke. Yeah,
okay.
Because now,
can I say Angelique can get, if you saying that Angelique McKay can get angry at you big time. Because Angelique says she is the biggest fan.
Okay, Angelique, I can teach you how to trip down little children when I see you again. Because that's a heavy competition. But this is a little clip from a young Bahamian girl from Long Island named Bahama Brooke. Like that's her media name. And she is singing what is, I think, the hottest song still in the Bahamas right now. Play that from a producer.
I'm a boatman. I'm a seaman. My work is on the water. Be diving. Doing the lightness. I'm a paper. How are you? Bye. I'm a boat.
Producer, play Boatman for me. Look here. Boatman.
My brother loves that song. My brother, he killed me when I was visiting
17
him.
times, right?
Like,
40
I was
years.
like, give us a rest.
I need you.
I say that.
No, KB, I need you and Bloody to do a music video with this, because when Bloody performed that at the Bahama Rock concert for the 50th Independence, that is the sweetest moment ever. I know man them don't like you to call them sweet and honey pie and make me cry, right? But when the boy say play boatman, and Bloody say that boy ain't no boatman. Yeah. That boy is a policeman, right? Though ain't nobody in the Bahamas gonna forget that. But this song came out right after the decision to make sailing the national sport.
Yeah, that was important, yes.
This is important. We're going to play this one. Just for a second.
How I survive. Listen. From foggy to yellowtail, from jackfish to killer whale, I jump in my dinky boat and I head on down the coast. I need a fish to bite, my kids gotta eat tonight, so I do what I gotta do, take some fish back for them to stew. I've been in the trail long, and I was very strong by my...
Okay, so here's my list of sweethearting songs for today's show. We can start with the KB songs, right? Stroke Man.
Yes.
Confirm for me. I don't know nothing about sweetheart and KB, because apparently homosexuals can't sweetheart. It's not.
Why not?
I think that.
That's not true.
I think Roach.
That is
somebody Roach my brain.
Me personally.
Yeah.
For me, again, not a homosexual, but I think as a man, and I guess homosexual, I guess not men, but as a man, for men to be at men, I think that's heaven.
Yeah.
Because we as men, that testosterone don't play with us.
Yeah.
So a man would understand when I say the word testosterone, every man will understand what I'm saying, because that's a real driver as far as what drives us through nature driving us. When women can complain about postpartum syndrome, all that, having a baby.
These conditions.
No, that's testosterone. That's a handicap. But no one ever talks about it.
Oh boy.
From 1 to 100.
David Williams.
No one talks about
Men's Day.
Yes.
We can talk about it.
No one talks about, listen, from 0 to 100. If you go into 20 and your testosterone that low, you are basically flaccid.
Now,
if you go to 50, you're an average guy, because you can look at a woman, you can look at anyone, and you can be attracted. But if you go into 70, you're a monster at 70 and 80. The thing is, that same testosterone is extremely serious. That should be considered a handicap. But no one, because we are men, no one gives us a bly. Everyone says, oh, you're a man, buckle up and just take it. They don't know what men go through with that same testosterone.
But look here, Latino, I think sort of masculinity and those issues, like, that's another ghost. The things we don't talk. No, the things we don't talk about, but are right there.
So I think Ian Bethel Bennett does some work on masculinity.
Yeah.
I think the way that we construct masculinity in the Bahamas is interesting and a lot of times toxic.
Yeah.
I know it is, KB. I think so. I think I do get, I guess, the sentiment that you're conveying. I see it a bit different though, because I think Bahamian men are socialized in a particular way. They are often in positions of power, which means that they don't think about emotions in particular, right?
No,
that's not the forte, right?
Yeah.
That's reserved for women, right? Or people, or soft men, right? Or men who are not quote unquote alpha, right? There's this whole idea about that, and that whole discourse is problematic because you can be a man and be in touch with your emotions. It's just. I think about balance, right?
Emotional intelligence, emotional regulation as well, right?
I think, but like I said, we've done an injustice towards Bahamian men.
Yeah, but let's say to my main point, speaking about testosterone.
Yeah,
you as a man, being a soft man, hard man, whatever kind of man, you still have to deal with testosterone, and that's something you can't control. That's nature. So I'm not speaking to what he can do. You can't control that part of.
I love that there's a place, right? When we call the borderland, there's a place. Don't worry, that's Jesus.
I trying to figure out.
Texting me, asking me, maybe it's something in the bag over there. What I doing? So watch this.
Okay.
These are the things we need to talk about. We need to create a space. Men could create the space for themselves, but it's not just men. that benefit from this conversation.
No.
It's not just men
No.
who value this conversation, right?
No,
So we
of
could do
course.
that. Now let me get back to this playlist because I got to get a song. Okay.
But I won't get back to I was having the enjoyment of the talk. I want to get to that talk.
We can get back to that.
We can get back.
Plenty time.
Now this one, my girlfriend like juice too much. Very straight out, right? And what I thought like was refreshing, like these are the things like men don't necessarily say out loud. Like when they get cheated on, when they talk about it, it's an expression of rage and authority. Like what I gonna do when I catch them or whatever.
You really dug for that one.
Yeah, but this place say
I need to hear that one.
this place say, man, she got a problem. Okay,
Can I? Let me show you. That song was written because I wrote a song for Veronica Bishop that's called "My Husband Like Teeth Too Much."
Okay.
So because when I wrote that, so her one was been out for months. So when I was putting out my project, I said, you know what? I should write a one. My girlfriend like Jew. That's the reason why that came. So I just thought it was, and then. In my song, And Little Richard, she said, I say something like apple, grape, whatever, and I said how she like drink drink juice.
Yeah.
But she like juice.
Okay. Yeah.
So
double entendre.
So that's why when I did this one, I just said, okay, just be a song straight up and say my girl like juice. That's all.
And but I think men need that. Like they need to see an example. Look, you could talk about it,
And that's why I put it forward.
Yeah.
I put it forward.
Ghost in the Well, I think Annie, Ghost in the Well,
Yes.
that's one of the older ones.
Yes.
One of the more popular ones.
Yes.
Bush Mechanic. For a long time I thought you was a real Bush Mechanic, and
That's what it is. I don't know. Listen, there's no sweetheart in that. There's no sweetheart in the Bush Mechanic.
Me suck my teeth. Okay.
There's no sweetheart in it.
No?
No sweetheart. The Bush Mechanic just speaking about his, what he has to do in his daily job and what he goes through. Now, people. Listen, let me just say this. Let's say this. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's say this. When I go on stage to perform live, I may, because then, I don't want any kids around, so I may, bring it a little more. And you're in the clubs, you're with adults.
You do it
so you
different.
play, But basically the song was a straight ahead. I've never written a song, basically, where you can say, well, KB is saying that something that can't be said. Everything can be said. It's what your mind will want to pick up.
Absolutely. Okay. Text. I got a question for
Go
you
ahead.
from a text, but we can get there. I come in. Hold on. Gotta be more. Okay. KB.
Yes.
Wind up on somebody. That's a.
Wind up on somebody. Or if you the same thing as you're whining. It's a song in the dance and you wind up and say, wind up and say, well, okay, there you go. Turks and cake is talking about the dance or there's late. We see this girl over there and we both want her. And basically that's the subject matter. That's why that's a duet. We both see and we both want her. So it is. Now you can tell by these guys, they got a couple of gals.
Yeah.
So let's say, so that could be,
okay.
I agree with you.
Bahamian Sweetheart in 101.
Of course, straight up in your face.
From the new Cuba.
And that is straight up sweetheart. And it's what, I've seen it many trips. I'm making trips to the States, and you see the guy, they trying to, I'm sitting down and waiting on Bahamas here to come from maybe Nassau or Freeport. And then when I come in, you sitting there and you watching who come, because we sit there and we watch who coming off the plane. Remember, you can sit there and you see so-and-so and you, and then she walk ahead or he walk ahead. They meet, he pick up the car. So this song was actually telling you how to do your business, watch yourself, and how to do it.
Okay. All right. Now, so do you have more sweetheart songs?
Well, I never really
call them sweetheart and songs.
Yeah, I never really looked at it that way.
Okay.
So I never.
So here's what I found.
That's the interesting thing about Bahamian music, right?
Yeah.
The social commentary, right? Because that's what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Whenever there's a moment, you talk about it, boatmen coming after sailing was made the national. I think, in other words, the music itself or the song itself points to a particular point in time in Bahamian history where something is going on. And KB, the writer, is memorializing that moment through these lyrics.
Absolutely.
Can I say, and the point, turn it loose and let her go. Turn it loose and let her go. If you listen to it, this song from then, I was about, 19, maybe 18, 19, 20 at that point. And again, being that, I schooled in the States, I was in a drama club, the whole week. So I saw at that point in my life, being young, I saw there were guys, because I in school in the States, I saw guys who had relationships, being in the drama club. This is where it is. And so when I wrote that song was actually saying, be yourself. Don't let anyone change. That's what the song is about. So you'll notice the song says that you ball all day, you come on, beat you ball all day, you come on, bite off a finger. What you get married for, I really don't know. All you do is beat that gal and use it for puppy show. This is a frustrated guy who living a life that then it says, then the second verse said, if you would go straight, then people could cope. But when you passing by, people afraid to pick up their soap. It's telling you what the song is saying. Maybe nothing wrong with you. Yeah. This is what the song says. Maybe nothing wrong with you, but what people going to think? All the boys then wearing blue and you wearing pink. That's what the song says.
Yeah.
It's straight in your face. Saying, but man, most people just listen to the chorus. They don't hear what this song is. But that song was actually a song just speaking to be yourself.
Okay.
All right.
And that's what she fought was also. Be yourself.
Okay. Yeah, because we love you just like that.
Yes.
Just because you're fat.
That's it.
All right, so I can go through this list. I want you to tell me if this song is a sweethearting song or not. Mahalia by Bloody.
You say you don't categorize them like that.
No, this one ain't mine. This one ain't mine.
Mahalia by Bloody.
Mahalia?
Yeah. Where you been, gal? I've been. It's implied, right? Is it implied?
That's definitely that. You paranoid.
Yeah. But we know Backup Generator. Junglist.
Backup Generator. Yeah. But I wrote that one. I wrote that.
I always felt like it was yours. I don't know why I feel like you're Spice. Yeah, definitely Spice.
I wrote that for her.
Phenomenal female artist.
Okay.
Spice, Backup Generator. Junglist by Gino D. It has sweethearting elements to it, but I think like he reached the point where he realized that it's his location in the relationship that's wrong. That as long as he thinks that's his girlfriend, she's sweethearting on him. But when he realized that's just the nature of her, he was able to release her.
Now you deeper. That's deeper than I can't answer that one.
Okay. Ancient Man, Red Shirt.
Definitely.
Give me my red shirt.
Yeah.
Natino, you know that song?
No, I don't.
No?
Girl, if I don't...
You got to play
producer,
that. That was
play
huge.
If I don't ever see your ugly face no more, I swear to God, it'll be too soon. You don't know that?
Your black ugly face.
Yeah, your black ugly face. Let me show you something.
I don't know.
I love my partner. I want to sing that song so bad, but I love my partner. I ain't gonna never be able to sing it. Right? But yeah, Red Shirt is
your clothes get thrown out, or what you mean? Why you gonna sing it?
I'm gonna have to listen to
somebody
this
take
get home.
Hey, I know I was in trouble when somebody take all my mango.
Okay, so I know it, but I just don't know this Red Shirt. I heard this. I heard this before.
It is a big song.
Give me my red shirt, baby. Give me my shoes over there. Girl, if I don't ever see you no more, I swear to God it'll be too soon.
Okay, we're gonna.
Okay, so I know it's Red Shirt now.
All right,
okay.
and then I want to send a shout out to DJ Overdose.
Okay.
Who did a Red Shirt rhythm, and there are 5 songs. Leon Greene, Vocab. He has a song called One Gal, and he is in the style of like a Joseph Spence. It's very guttural, right?
Okay.
Overdose has one.
Guttural. Good one. Good one.
There's
is it
one
on Apple Music? Is the
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Okay, I'll
yeah,
check
it's on
it out.
YouTube.
Okay.
Elena, is it Elena? Sweet Jams Only, and right, so 5 tracks on the. I was impressed by him finding a sample within as opposed to without, right?
Okay,
the
yeah.
culture, and it was fantastic. Producer, let's prep that phone call. Well, one of the newest ones, "Wake Boyfriend" by Johnny K. Some women know their boyfriend.
Yeah, there are many songs. I know there's a guy at the Grand Band who has a boyfriend, that kind of work thing.
Yeah.
So I know, yes, there's several songs I know like that. So you're right, Sweetheartin'. You're right.
Prolific. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Erin.
Good morning.
And to all the guests. KB, my favorite.
Thank you very much. How you doing? Good morning.
Listen, this is from the old school, but indeed it's a sweethearting song. 8 Babies to Mine.
Yes. Well,
she left me behind with 8 babies to mine.
Yes.
I will say no more,
Yes.
but that is definitely one.
Yes.
Now, ma'am, just a quick thing, right? I play that regularly, and I played it last week, sort of anticipating this conversation, right?
Okay.
Do we call it sweethearting when it's about the economic dynamics of the time? Because I always felt like he stayed home, she went to the doctor.
Hold on, come in. Yeah, I on the phone.
The last thing.
And you sweethearting me on the phone. Miss, you can go to wake. No. Continue. You continue. Talk to KB. Don't mind me.
Okay, Erin.
Yes, ma'am.
But the fact is, she left him with all these babies to mine, and she was out there with a sailor.
I got you. It don't matter to his heart. What the dynamic.
Yes.
I got you.
Okay, thank you.
No, thanking you very, very much.
Now, I've never heard. I don't know if I've never heard that one. But let me tell you immediately what I think about. Right, as a historian, I'm well aware that there's steamships that used to pass at certain ports like Rumkey, Inagua. I think Crooked Island and or Auckland's. There were the steamships used to go there. So that part of Bahamian history I could relate to because I'm well aware of it, and I could see the correlation between the music and the song and the history itself or the moment that I was talking about.
I got you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you see.
I'm going to declare now that "Can't Find Jerry Roker in Town" is a sweethearting song. I can't tell you how I know. Okay, I can't tell you how I know, but I letting y'all know now. If it's one thing I know that. Okay? That's a sweetheart. I can't tell you the details either.
And you asked me one more. I told you the song I had on the same Cuba album.
Yeah.
It's called They Ain't Gone. That's the one I tell you. And They Ain't Gone, meaning that his wife left him. Even the sweetheart leave him. But they still has come around him, bothering him for money and looking to still, it's that same kind of...
A vibe.
Yeah, same kind of... But listen, sweethearting in the Bahamas is it's a culture. It's an art.
In fact, if you watch Eyes Man, the documentary by Ian Strawn, right, Nicolette Bethel explains, or sort of tries to create a space where we could the ghosts, the thing that we have been taught, like I was taught, the nuclear family is a traditional family in the Bahamas. That's not true. That just ain't true. Right?
Also, our research bears that out because the way that the majority of Bahamian families are structured is matrifocal, which means that the woman is basically the head of the house. However, the man may be in or out the house. He plays the role in terms of giving and providing money. And she basically does, make the brunt of the work, meaning that it centers around what the woman itself does. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Now, KB, I got some more questions about your work, your anthology, but I want just get through this list. Bad Sweetheart.
That's,
yeah. Bad Woman...
Make my gag man.
Sleeping policeman, huh? No. Is that about sweethearting?
Well, you just saying bad woman.
Okay, now
that is sweethearting because she bad.
Yeah.
So that would be.
What I found cool was both D-Mac and Avi have versions of Bad Sweetheart.
Yeah.
That's what I found on YouTube.
Okay. I didn't know
And the
that.
voices were because I thought maybe somebody just mislabeled it, like they don't know the difference.
I did not.
But I think the voices are distinctly different. Okay, of course, Ghost Move. We all know Ghost.
Yes,
now,
of course.
I don't know what's going on in Inagua, right? But Avi and Stalik. Stalik got put that suitcase down. Don't go downtown. I ain't gonna keep sweetheart no more.
Not a sweetheart.
And then you make red run in my eye. Woman calling me pie. If you leave me, I ain't gonna die, right? We say you carry on the way you do. I ain't gonna die. I could be all right. Ghost Move. Roach on my bread.
Well, definitely.
Classic.
That's a lot of... Wow.
Like I said, I taught Mahalia. Avi with another one. I ain't going home. Producer, play that.
I haven't heard
this
that.
This is a relatively new one, right? But he say, look here, woman out here like grass on the lawn, ducks in the pond. I ain't going home. Like you rowing, I ain't going home because woman out here like grass on the lawn and ducks on the pond.
A lot of women.
Yeah.
Why go home?
Okay, here's a question for you. What does this man drunk hot dog sauce mean, KB?
That got to be very personal because hot dog sauce, I can't even imagine.
Just because you from the north.
Yeah, that's my point.
From the south, right?
That's my point. I can't relate to that.
Producer, when you get a chance, play.
That sounds extremely disgusting. You know hot dog water like.
This time I feel like I like hot dog sauce.
I've heard about hot dog sauce. I would never do that.
What's wrong with y'all?
That sounds disgusting.
A hot dog sauce?
Yeah, that sounds disgusting.
No,
you ever had rib sauce?
Rib sauce.
I never had rib sauce either, but I think I heard.
I mean, the ribs is be in this. I mean,
yes,
in the dumplings.
If y'all wasn't the two most Bahamian, but I might know I was pulling your old Bahamian card.
Rib sauce.
Yes.
Never had that.
That's your business. That's okay. Producer, when you ready, Dukan and his Caribbean's Chinese children. Now, when you mentioned the Turks connection, right? Kino Hall, layaway. Yeah. Somebody gotcha.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of sweetheart in me. Wow.
Another modern day classic, Looking for Sugar.
Lord, here you go. Lord.
You know when your music...
I swear, hold on, come on, phone.
When your music's so hard, the phone say, look here, let's play some music right now, KB. All right, producer, when you're ready, it's on the list halfway through. And then I'm gonna ask you some questions because I don't know how many albums you have, KB.
A lot.
I don't know how many songs you have, KB.
A lot.
I think it's interesting, and I'm really glad that you invited me, right? Because I mean, I get to talk to you, right? So the fact that I'm excited because I mean, I've always noted the social commentary in Bahamian music, but to sit and hear like your story, you said that you went to school, like you
I school in the state.
Yeah, and you, I think you said that you did drama school or something like
But
that.
I did drama class. I did we call it, chorus and drama.
Okay.
Those are the two courses.
Are you teaching at the campus?
No,
because you should be.
But
are you going to be teaching at the UB School of?
I have no credentials. I have no credentials. No, don't get me wrong. I have experience to teach.
Your albums is the credential.
I have experience to teach, but I have no credentials to teach.
All right, producer. I know I tell
I'm
you.
like Kanye right here.
I know I tell you play the song by Avi, but we coming to the end of the first hour of the show. We're gonna
play that.
If KB is, you want to play the one by Avi?
Yeah, let me hear that. Let me hear the
that
song.
Play that, producer. As we go to the break, the end of On the Clock, and then we're gonna begin Guardian Radio AM, and we're gonna get back into this because I have to ask you about this album, Stinking Ways, and when you became a rock star.
Oh, you know about that.
Listen, don't mind what I be doing in the night. I don't be doing badness. I be doing research. A producer can pull it up any moment now. As we get ready to close the show, Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel want to take you on a 7-day cruise for 4 to Panama, Colombia, Curacao, and Aruba. Caribbean Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part. No visa required. That's right. No visa required. You have 4 ways to enter, 4 ways to win. That's our Guardian. Listen to Star 106.5 and Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram or make a purchase at Going Places Travel. Entry deadline is June 27th, 2025. Drawing on July 4th, 2025. So pack your bags, get ready to soak up the sun, and feel that ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones sailing the high seas on a vacation cruise of a lifetime. Brought to you by Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel. Certain conditions apply, airfare, taxes, and gratuities not included. We're going to the break. I playing this song for KB. I didn't know I know a song that KB didn't know, but I'm going to take advantage of this moment. This is Avi, I Ain't Going Home.
And let me tell you one thing, I ain't going home, no, I ain't going home, every day. Why you messing around, the woman on your mind, you didn't hold your ground, now you asking all around, did you see him? Tell him I didn't mean it, why you messing around, didn't hold your ground, now you asking all around, did you see him? Tell him I didn't mean it. Conks on the bank, ducks in the pond. These gals out here like grass on my lawn. And let me tell you one thing, I ain't going